What is up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're doing well today. We're going to be doing my full overview of the Divo Knives Stout version 2. Let's get into it. All right, before we jump into it, I wanted to just really quickly cover a couple of things. This is a pass-around knife. It is a prototype. It is not the final variant. The pre-order has come and went, unfortunately. I do know that Divo Knives plan to order overages, so if you missed, there will be additional stock that comes in. Just real quick to recap, I believe this is everything that'll be included. If I recall, I think the pre-order may get a couple little extras, but I believe with the actual order, you will get the box, the faux leather pouch, which is a nice pouch. You'll get the hank or microfiber cloth sticker, and I think you get a pouch. So if anything is different, I'm hoping it's stated on the paper that I'm getting ready to go over with you, just to make sure that I talk about some of the things that you can expect with this one, and then we're going to dive right into the normal overview that we do. So I'm just going to run through some of the differences here and hope that you can just pause and look at it. So there's going to be a right-handed and a left-handed version. I'm not going to walk through every combination and facet that'll be available. What I do want to highlight on, though, is that this filler tab is going to be gone. It's going to be a clean show side regardless of the variant that you pick up. Again, pre-orders have come and gone. Today is the 29th. I just got this on this past Sunday. It's Wednesday. What day is it? What you can see here is that the retail price $375. Some of the changes that'll be happening will be that it'll, again, no filler tab, milled clip instead of the wire clip, which I think I missed in the unboxing. And the prototype is LMAX, but it will be Vanex Super Clean, which is a really, really cool steel. I'm excited to see that they're working with that. Here are all the specs. I don't really go through that anymore. You can go to any page, any retail page. You can look here and you can see what the specs are. I try to focus my energy on my thoughts on the knife and just doing some comparisons. Thank you, Kevin and Colin, for allowing me and this channel and my viewers to check out the prototype. Really excited for the knife. I hope it does really well. I think it's awesome that you guys decided to do a left and a righty variant this time. All right, let me go ahead, jump into some size comparisons. I'm going to kick it off with a couple of budget-friendly knives. We have the Civivi Vision FG, and you can see the FG is a little bit longer, but these are pretty comparable in size. I think they're very good comparisons. If you have the Vision FG, this will give you a really good idea what to expect with the Divo Stout version 2. And then we have the Divo Pony Stout, which I was really excited about this. I'm a little low. I apologize. I'm trying a different angle. I'm trying to come up a little bit higher, so I have some more room to move around. And I'm trying to find that same balance that I used to have, where you could really see the comparisons well on the table. But then when I pick it up, I'm not like right under the camera. Back to the knives, but the Pony Stout is a 2.89 inch blade. So you can see here the 3.25 that's on that Divo Stout version 2 is a little bit longer. And then you got a lot of handle length there. Let me go ahead and do a couple of more comparisons. Then we'll do profile and check out the weight, even though it was on the paper. And even though it is a prototype, I'm just going to stick with the standard format that I always do. I think this one here, the bug out's probably going to be the most comparable in size. I consider the bug out a medium knife, so I would consider the Stout V2 a medium knife for me. Now, most people that have medium to large hands, it's still going to feel like a full-size knife. Here it is against the tactile knife Maverick, and you can see the Maverick is longer, and you can get a little bit of a sense how purple haze can vary depending on the material, how much was in it, how it was cut, how it was sanded down, all of that stuff. I'm going to move the Maverick out of the way. I'm going to do the profile comparisons, not size, profile comparisons against the ones that are closer in size, which will be this and the Vision. So hold on one second. I don't know why I put my water here. I know better than to do that. It takes up my elbow space. So here we go against the Benchmade Bug Out. And you can see that even though the Bug Out is thinner, the Stout V2 still comes off feeling very thin because it's contoured instead of having those more squared off scales. And then against a more squared off scaled knife, here it is against the Vision FG. The Vision FG is just a skosh thicker, not really too much difference there. And then let's jump in on the weight and then we'll talk about the knife. There we go. Just got to find the angle again. I'm going to move this stuff up a little bit as well. So 3.5 ounces, you see I have to look over that, so I might have to find another solution for that camera angle. But let's stop talking about my workstation. Let's talk about this knife, which is what we're all here to talk about. So I had the Stout version 1. And it was, it felt like QSP manufactured. I'm just going to say that. QSP has a tendency to feel like a more thick, chunky knife all around. Even when you give them the specs, the way that they square it off and everything just feels a little bit more chunky. My understanding, and I wonder if it's on the paper, I believe Best Tech is the OE on this. Does it say it on here that I can find quickly? I'm not seeing it, so my editor might have to correct me if I misstate that. I'm pretty confident that Best Tech is the OE for the Divo Stout version 2, and you can tell some of the differences. So I know they probably are the same weight. It just feels really light in hand, but I think part of that is the mindset of having these slightly contoured scales, very subtly, slightly contoured, and then the edges are still chamfered down. So I feel like that's probably playing with me a little bit as far as the weight. They could be a little bit lighter, but I just feel like these are pretty much feeling lighter because they have those contoured scales, so it's smaller in hand. Could be wrong again, but I really like that subtle change a lot. Also, I like the milled titanium clip that they have on here. If this is what's going to be coming on it, I don't know if there's going to be any changes. I don't know if they're going to, mill it to match or anything like that. But I definitely enjoy the way this feels in hand a whole lot more than I do the wire pocket clip. The wire pocket clip moves around. It to me, it just doesn't feel as good. This is a big improvement for me. The hollow grind on here with the belt satin finish, that looks phenomenal. I think it's a really good looking knife, and I think that was a really smart change as well. I like the pivot collar looking really good here. I love that they added the milled lines. I think that gives it a little bit more personality. It's a simple design, straightforward design, but it's a design that works really well and manages to feel really comfortable in hand. And it's a blade shape that works really well. A great utility cutter, a great work knife. It's going to suit really well for a lot of heavy duty tasks, even though it has more premium materials. You got titanium everywhere. It is milled out, large milling circles on the inside here, and then on this side here, you have really small milling circles. You got a titanium backspacer. Kudos to Kevin for putting the lanyard pin in here still. I think I probably would have just gone ahead and gotten rid of that. I don't remember, and maybe I missed it. I don't remember seeing too many people out there that were throwing the lanyards on the back of their Divo. But good job here because you're not taking away from the scales. They're very clean still. Again, I think it's going to look so good. I'm just trying to envision it without the filler tab. That's what's going on there. I think it's going to look really, really clean. I can't wait to see what the lefty variant looks like. I think he showed off the lefty variant, but I was trying to absorb all the changes and everything that he talked about with this one. And, I think it's going to be super clean like that without having the reverse. So we'll see how that goes. I think the pre-order went really well. I want to see how quickly the overstock sells out as well. So I'm curious to see how that goes because I think it's a really, really good change. I think the milled clip here just makes it feel even more premium. I'm super excited about the Van X and this edge. I mean, the hollow grind, not just the edge, but the hollow grind is super thin, really, really thin. Not testing the edge on this, being that it is a prototype, so I'm not going to really give any feedback on that. But if this is anything like what Best Tech did on the Relative, that one had a really thin hollow grind as well. They did a fantastic job. Whoever their OE is, nailed it. It, came from the factory, super slicey. I don't think that he installed the skiffs. It looks like OE bearings in there. They look like a really light color gold. I know it's hard to get that to show up on the camera. So factory bearings from Best Tech, that was close to nailing the thumb. Really, really, really good. I know the skiffs do make them feel smoother. It makes the action feel smoother. It feels a little bit more glassy on the drop. And if you feel feedback, that's typically from the detent ball riding on the blade. So if you have like a black wash instead of this raw finish, you may feel that a little bit more. But this feels really good. This is an absolute killer knife. I'm really excited to see how it does. I hope it continues to do well. I think the feedback that he gets on the stout is really good. I think there's some that liked the buzz a little bit better. But I think that's because that was like an all titanium knife, and I think these have always been micarta or carbon fiber, and I think these are all carbon fiber this time, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty confident about that. I know it says it right there on the sheet, and I can look, but I'm pretty confident that everything is some sort of carbon fiber variant. So people that don't like that or are not into that or don't like the two-tone, I think that's probably why they gravitate towards the buzz. So it's good that they offer a variety. Access to the lock bar remains really good. I want to say they maybe even added a little bit here because I feel like it was a little tight as I drop it and cut my table. I feel like it was a little tighter on the V1 if I remember correctly. So I feel like they improved that, and I like that about it. I don't know if they made any changes. I think they did carry that out a little bit more. I feel like I was a little bit closer to that edge when I was choked up. So I think there's some more room here, and I think the opening hole might be a little bit smaller and a little bit sharper on the inside edge here for catching the finger, because I feel like it was a little smooth on the V1 if I remember right, and this feels like it's a little bit sharper. Detent is dialed. This has got a nice snappy detent. Man, this is just a really cool knife. The transitions are really nice here. I'm not feeling any sharp edges whatsoever. Really nice here. Don't feel any scratchiness or sharpness. Oh, maybe right there on the out corner, maybe just a touch of scratch. But in hand, oh yeah, I can slide across it, but I'm really not moving on the knife like that. Like once I get into position, I'm usually on it. You may be, if your hand does slip a little bit on a cut, like if you're pulling through something at an angle, you might slip and feel that, but it's really not that bad, and you don't feel it at all. Maybe a hint, just a little bit, but again, this is a prototype. Any of that can change. Check out the Divo Stout, and if you don't like this model, you might want to check out some of the other knives in his lineup. Me personally, I really like the Pony Stout, just because I like this in the pouch. I like this as a companion carry. I just personally prefer the size of the Pony Stout for a secondary knife. I like that type of blade shape and handle in a secondary knife as opposed to in a primary knife. For me, I passed on this one because the V1, as much as I liked it, really just aesthetically wasn't my style. I actually lean more towards the buzz, but this one is very well loved in the community, and there's a lot of reason why. It's just a phenomenal build. Best Tech always does a great job. I have not encountered a bad Best Tech knife. I've heard a couple people have, and that's going to happen with a production company. You're going to get, one here, one there, but I think they're more consistent with build quality, and it shows here. It really shows here. And again, Vanex, I have a Vanex Padre. I'm super excited about getting acquainted with Vanex because I haven't dealt with it before now. Really, really awesome. Let me know what you think about the Stout V2. Did you get in on the pre-order, and which one did you get? Let me know in the comments, or are you going to pick one up in the overages that come in when they're available? I know there's some people that don't like to spend the money and it not be available immediately, so they buy when it comes in. And you run a little bit of a risk with that type of game, because if there's not enough overages, because they don't know how much to order, because they don't know how many people prefer to do that, you may miss out. So it's a gamble, and I hear people all the time that talk about they missed the Voodoo, they missed some Veros, etc., etc. So I'd like to see 2 drops a year on this as well, where he changes up the material and everything like that. I don't want to see where, like Veros, you're always getting the exact same thing with very minute or minor changes. I'd like to see it continue to mix up and see different things, and maybe even see a budget version of the stout, because the Pony Stout did so well. But I don't know how much there is an appetite for that. Let me know in the comments. Shout out to everyone out there that leaves the likes, the comments, that is subscribed. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.